Hello, my name's Jeff Richards and I'm one of the trustees of the Friends of St Nicholas Churchyard. Just wanted to say the rambles are back. We've been doing some research, some fantastic stuff has been really found. One of the things that I like being able to do is go and look properly again at some of the sources that I've been using for these rambles. And just like if you want to learn more about any of these rambles, then I would encourage you to go to our friends at Sutton College. Sutton College has got a fantastic range of culture and history courses, and if you want to know more about any of the topics that we touch on in these series of rambles, then they're the people to go to. Now, all these rambles have been made possible very much by Enjoy Sutton and by the Sutton Civic Society. We've had the encouragement of both those organisations. Enjoy Sutton is the group of people who is the organisation that really promotes Sutton as a fantastic place to live and work. It's the main high street. There are something like 460 odd businesses represented by that, and Sutton Civic Society, of course, is the critical friend of the council who wants to engage positively in the borough's development. Now, I was saying that I've been engaging again in primary sources, or let's say translated and transcribed primary sources, and I'm so very glad that I've recently invested in this book. And if it's not displayed to the camera correctly, I'll put it there. This is a copy of something called the Spage Register. Now, it's basically Surrey wills from the medieval period and the early modern period. And what's so fantastic about this is that, of course, it's one of the sources that I was looking at was one that gave me the details of Alice Stewart. And remember, I covered her, the world of Alice Stewart, in a session. I think it was about the 13th ramble that I went through. Well, what's great about this now is that looking at this and seeing that there's a couple of actually versions of Alice's wills, and it crops up with details of a missing priest, a chaplain of St Nicholas Church. Now, I'll cover that in another ramble because I'll go into that, and there's a whole question. I want to do a little bit of research as well by corresponding with people at the Carshalton and District Archaeological Society to actually check my reasoning, but it does look like we've certainly got evidence that there was a separate chapel, separately endowed chapel within St Nicholas, and that's probably the Lady Chapel, the Mary Chapel. So Carshalton Church had its own chapel of St Nicholas, dedicated, of course, to All Saints, but there was a chapel to St Nicholas. St Nicholas was this hugely popular medieval saint because of the kindness to travellers, the kindness to students, and kindness to children especially. Now, this week, this is only an introductory ramble, really, getting the whole thing back. This week, the news is that there is and there isn't going to be a Gibson tomb inspection. What I mean by that is that the rector of Sutton and the churchwardens are going to inspect the tomb, and they are going to inspect the tomb on the 12th, but it's not going to be a public inspection. So it's satisfying the terms of the will, and that's really great that that's actually going to take place. We are, of course, going to miss out on actually the inspection, or the public inspection of the Gibson tomb, but what I want to do now, really, to bring this little ramble to a close, is to remind us of inspections of the past. And here's a little video to just remind you of what it was like in 2017 in more normal times. Enjoy. Of course, that was a reminder of inspections of times past. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to the next series of rambles as we continue to explore the history of St. Nicholas and Sutton. So long, Sutton, your history.